forgiveness is like a background to everything we've been learning in our lives. So what I've found is that in the ups and downs of life, the Dhamma is constantly teaching us, and when we learn concepts. Most of us, as a person, we take them in as concepts as a person. So something happens, you learn something, maybe there's a bit of feedback that comes your way. It's absolutely normal not to like feedback. So we hear the feedback, we don't like it, and we know we should just take it like a lamb. You know, have this huge, big, forgiving, loving, open heart. And then we give ourselves a bad time for needing feedback, if it's of the constructive kind. And then we give ourselves a bad time for not being able to take the feedback. What's wrong with me? This is hopeless. You know, before we know it, we've given up on the Dhamma or disrobed. And then something goes really well, and it's like everything's lovely. So there's this up and down and up and down, and this kind of grind. Our work as practitioners is to see through the grind, and each time it hurts, learn a little bit more about not being a person who is good or bad. So we've kind of mentioned non-linearity, which is a big learning for some of us, not being people who take things so literally, or not identifying as taking things so literally. Because if we try and be logical in our practice, we can drive ourselves completely crazy. So the words tie us up in knots, don't they? So forgiving ourselves, forgiving others, holding things lightly where we can, taking things very seriously when necessary. So much love for this ridiculous life we have as a human being that's also so beautiful. So the forgiveness and the gratitude and the contentment go together. Every time we forgive, we wake up a little bit more. This morning we did a chant about the highest blessings, contentment and gratitude. These things are to be practiced all the way along the path, the beginning, the middle and the end. So it's good to notice these words and see how they land in the mind. Perhaps they're familiar. You may feel that we've done a lot of work in these areas, or that we're naturally contented, grateful people, or they might feel like obligations. The guiding words, what do they bring up in our heart? They seem pretty basic. Are they for beginners? The encouragement is to develop these things incorporate these qualities into our practice in a very deep way. This is a beautiful environment to practice in because there are little reminders around the building to be grateful for many things, including the sun and the moon, the food we eat, the water we wash our hands with, the bed we lie down on at night. So in this present moment, the chant also told us to have heedfulness for all things that arise. So we can note what is arising now. Is the mind distracted? Is the mind peaceful? Coming back to the meditation object if the mind has wandered. Using the words to help steady us. If we need that, flow over us. Just taking what's needed. So to be grateful for something, and the challenge is to ultimately be grateful for everything. To be grateful, we have to know that something is there. So we start with knowing, and that can include knowing sensations, thoughts, emotions. If we know something is there, we can't be it. If we know that we are angry, the anger has lost some of its power. We can't be an angry person. There is anger there. How can we be grateful for everything? How can we be grateful for the angry moments, the fearful moments, as well as the joyful moments? If everything can become an opportunity to learn, if we can see everything that arises as an opportunity to learn and clean, there is a kind of gratitude that can arise for things which are challenging. And we can start this practice in a very small way by looking at situations or things which are maybe not to our liking, or just a little bit difficult. Getting out of bed in the morning, if you would rather lie there for another half an hour, it can take us quite a while to see that it may just be tiredness of the body and we may need extra rest. Sometimes there are other things going on, and we can find that we want to numb out due to depression, fear, anxiety. It could be in quite a subtle way. But when we see that, we turn the light on. When we turn the light on, we can see the limitations of thinking. We can maybe get some handle on knowing that we're not seeing everything, that things are not always as they seem. There may be other possibilities. Gratitude can open our hearts so that the challenges of life become the path under our feet. And we may have to revisit some of those challenges many times in different ways. It's always different. At the Hermitage we have a Gratitude to Parents Day where people come and we spend time together honouring the gifts that our parents gave us or whoever raised us. We put pictures of our parents on a shrine. This comes easily to some people. Some people it's a very natural thing. They have an easeful relationship with their parents or had. And to some of us, it's something we have to put a lot of work into because we didn't have an easeful relationship with our parents. And each of us has to come to some peace with what gratitude to parents means in our particular case, because we're not assuming that everything was perfect. Maybe a lot of things weren't perfect. But ultimately in our practice we have the work to do, which is fine-tuning our attitude, being careful about where we put our attention and the quality of that attention. So relationship to parents can be a delicate subject. Sometimes we need help to come to terms with things. Forgiveness is big, sometimes on both sides, but finding some value in things that were given, appreciation, understanding, the opportunity to be here right now, gratitude for that, gratitude for this human life. The Buddha told us that these things are integral to who we are, how we live our lives, and our spiritual health. these simple things are like a key in our heart. And sometimes it can feel like we're like Lewis Carroll's Alice walking down a passageway, and it can feel endless. Maybe a passageway of boredom, despair, discouragement, fear of death, fear of the future. And we're not seeing properly. We have tunnel vision. So we know we're walking down the passageway, we feel our feet on the floor as we walk. We know we're alive. We know we're breathing. The thoughts can come and go. Present moment awareness means that we can become more open to what's around us. And we can see that actually on all sides of the passage there are doors. There's a little bit of light coming under the door. And there's a keyhole in the door. And if we can remember it's there, we can find the key in our heart, the teaching, whatever we've learnt. And on each step of the journey, we can open the door. If we find ourselves in these situations where thinking arises and we feel claustrophobic, identified, this is who I am an angry or fearful person, then we've forgotten about the doors and the key. And just like Alice, we may need to expand and contract in our practice to access the way into present moment awareness, light and healing and freedom.